Welcome back to your mat, beautiful community. We are super excited to continue to share our yoga classes with you, but there will be a bit of a change of scenery very, very soon. So today we're going to be doing a lot of moving up and a lot of moving down. So I want to bring a lot of emphasis to the breath. When we move up and down, it's really, really important that that's where our focus is to ensure that we're not getting dizzy throughout that movement. So just be a little bit wary of that before we begin. But today we're going to be starting in a passive version of Paschimottanasana, which is our forward fold. So I'm going to ask that you guys take a seat on your mat and let your legs run really long, and then take your sitting bones back in space. And from there, begin to simply slump down, round through the spine. And allow the forehead, the crown of head to become super heavy down towards your legs. There's no activity pulling the chest towards the toes. We're just going to allow this back line of fascia to begin to open up. So as you sit, I'm sure there will be loud sensation. Don't resist the head. Allow it to be heavy. And then breathe. Now this is a shape you'll really feel your breath. Turn on Ujjayi. Make that your commitment to hold that breath practice throughout this whole class. And start to breathe into the sensation wherever it's loudest. Maybe it's in between the shoulder blades and in the neck. Maybe in your lower back, or maybe it's all hamstrings. And just a couple more breaths here. As the belly expands, and notice you'll move up a little in space. And as the belly contracts, see if you can offer the torso into that space. One more expansive breath in. And surrender into the breath out. And slowly begin to roll up. I'll get you to face the camera for me, Tyler. And come into a kneeling position or cross-legged. And slowly drop your right ear to your right shoulder. You can walk the left hand out and away from the body if you please. But any of that sensation that still lingers in the body from that forward fold, now we're going to offer that some space to move up and away from the muscles, from the inner body. Again, start to breathe. The sensation of the breath fuses with the sensation of the body. They become one, not one of them drawing more attention than the other. Last breath out on this side. Breathe in, crown of head will rise. Breathe out, left ear, left shoulder. You can walk the hand, right hand, away from the body if you please. As you can see, if your eyes are open, Tyler's eyes are closed. I invite you to do the same thing. When we close down the eyes, as we always say, that visual distraction disappears. There's no need to focus on anything other than the sensation drawing you into the inner body. Take just one more breath out. And crown of head to the sky as you breathe in. Take 2 rolls of your head, big circles. Again, any of that residual sensation, feel it wash away in this movement. You can pause if you need to pause. And just take it really slow. Good. That next breath in, crown of head up to the sky. Feel length in the spine. Take 3 rolls of your shoulders back in space. And then 3 rolls of your shoulders forward in space. Good. Now we've got that upper body feeling the way it should. We're going to land in a downward facing dog. Guys, make sure that your hands are shoulder width apart. Really important. Grip the fingertips from this wrist crease all the way through the spine. We should have this beautiful long and straight line, no rounding through especially our lumbar spine, our lower back. And then from there, bend the knees, energetically take the sitting bones to the sky. And then add a little bit more flavor by wrapping the triceps back in space, like you want your armpits to face one another. Start to pedal through the legs if you please. Now we get to move into that lower half of the body. And today we're going to take our time really getting into the body, waking it up to prepare it to move. So let's take just one more breath out. Find stillness. And then as you breathe in, rise up onto your toes. As you breathe out, roll both of your feet over to the right. Good. Keep your hips nice and high. That's it. Make sure that you continue to push the floor away and that left hand is really well grounded so we can find this beautiful space through the left side body. Again, keep those hips high, keep pushing the floor away. One more breath out. As you breathe in, rise back up. And as you exhale, move off to the left. So you are on the outer left foot, the inner right. And again, keep the hips high by pushing the floor away. That breath, I can hear Tyler's breath. I hope you can hear yours too. Every time you can't, there's your reminder, Ujjayi. Let's take one more breath out. Rise up as you breathe in. And then walk your feet to your hands as you exhale. We are going to hang out in a forward fold at the top of our mat just for a little moment. Bend your knees. Please rest your belly on your thighs. When we rest our belly on our knees, what's actually happening is we're utilizing the whole upper body as a weight. This weight is pulling the sitting bones up in space so we can gain as much length through the hamstrings as possible. Opening up that lower half, making sure that breath is present, belly expands onto thighs. And then as you exhale, fold a little deeper into that space. Just one more round of breath. Slow and steady, roll up to standing. Really slow. Good, roll the shoulders back and down. Land in this really stable shape. Today, this is the position we'll be moving out of. This is where we're going to land. So every time you land in this space, I'm going to ask that you observe where your attention lies and if it's surrounded by your breath. Keep your breath moving. Let's take a breath out together. Empty the belly. Push the belly button to the spine. Urdhva Hastasana. As you breathe in, feel an active length. Reach up to the sky. Standing splits as you exhale. Hands to the earth. Right leg will lift. Good. Really nice. We're going to hang out here for a quick moment. I'm going to ask that you guys, if you can, take your hand to your lower back and make sure that your hips are in line with one another. We don't want that right hip peeling up in space. We want to make sure that our hips are square to the earth, meaning even to the earth. Keep that right leg lifted. Let's take one more breath out. As you breathe in, take a halfway lift. As you exhale, you can step or cast back, if you know casting, into low plank. Really good. Come into upward facing dog as you breathe in. Push the floor away. Downward facing dog as you breathe out. Now what you saw if you were watching Tyler was casting back. If you don't want to cast back, the leg that's lifted, simply step that back into your high plank and then lower down. Just land in your downward facing dog for a quick moment. Or take that last breath out. Again, belly button to spine. Rise up onto your toes, breathe in. Bend your knees, take your gaze forward. You can step or maybe float to the top of your mat. Land in that halfway lift as you breathe in. And forward fold as you exhale. Hands rise to the sky, Urdhva Hastasana. Take a big breath in. Samastitihi as you exhale, ground your left foot. Next breath in, stork pose, right knee rises, hands rise too. Now you can see Tyler has chosen hands at heart center. Now he's lifted his arms, but there's always that option. If you want your hands to stay at heart center because of discomfort in the shoulder, you are more than welcome. But just start to find this really straight line. Or take one more big breath in, reach up, keep the knee high. Right hand to right foot as you exhale. As you breathe in, straighten that right leg as best as you can. Now guys, if you need to keep a bend in this right knee, go for it. Please don't feel like you have to straighten that leg fully. Sometimes what's holding us back is the proportions in our body. So accept wherever you're at. Let's breathe in one more time. And as you breathe out, start to move that right foot out into the side in line with your right hip as much as you can. Now Tyler's is still angled forward a little, that's totally fine. We just want to make sure we're getting into the inner thigh now, the inner hips. We're going to take one more breath out. You guys have got it. Stork pose as you breathe in. Use that hip flexor to lift the knee. Foot to floor, hands to heart center as you breathe out. Really nice. That's our flow. I'm really asking you guys, encouraging you guys to continue to focus on the breath. Let's breathe out. Hands rise to the sky. Feel active length as you breathe in. Standing splits as you breathe out. Lift the left leg this time. Let's hang out in this posture and allow our body to gain what it needs to gain from it. Find your alignment. Emphasis on your. We're not all here to look exactly like Tyler. Our bodies are different. Accept that. Love that. Let's take one more breath out. Take a halfway lift as you breathe in. Step or cast back. Maybe you try that cast. Chaturanga. Good. Take an upward facing dog. Push the floor away. Hips up and back into your downward facing dog. As you exhale, we're going to pause once again. Just 2 rounds of breath. See if there's a difference from one leg to the other. And check in with that Ujjayi breath as you exhale for the last time. A breath in. Come up onto the toes. Bend the knees, take the gaze forward. You can step, maybe you try out a float or jump, land in that halfway lift as you breathe in. And fold over as you exhale. Urdhva Hastasana, that active length, take a big breath in. Samastitihi as you exhale. Stork pose on the other side, ground that right foot, lift the left leg. Now as you can see with Tyler's body, his heel, hips, shoulders and head are all in one long line. We're not looking to overcompensate by leaning back to get the knee higher or forward either. Find that really long line. One more big breath in, feel your ribs expand. Peace fingers wrap around the left toes as you breathe out. A breath in to extend the leg. Good. See if you can draw your left shoulder back in space. Stay proud through the chest. We're doing a lot of hamstring stuff here. That's kind of the point of this class, hence why the breath is so important. Let's take one more breath in. Start to move that leg out and off to the side as you breathe out. Feel the sensation change through that movement. We go more so from our hamstrings, back of the leg, to the inner length of the leg. Allow this to draw you in and create that connection. Really good, guys. Hold that. One more breath out. Control stork pose as you breathe in, hands to the sky. Foot to floor, hands to heart center. Breathe out. You can wobble through the legs if you need. All right, one breath, one movement. Take your time. Allow Ujjayi to carry you through. Breathe out. Urdhva Hastasana, hands will rise up, breathe in. Standing splits, right leg lifts as you breathe out. Take that halfway lift, draw the collarbones forward, plant the hands, step that right foot back or cast Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, keep pushing the floor away. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Heels to rise as you breathe in, get that buoyancy. Bend the knees, gaze forward, step, try floating, land in your halfway lift, hips over heels. Forward, forward, breathe out. Hands to rise, that active length and buoyancy, breathe in. Hands to heart as you breathe out. Left foot grounds, right knee rises, stork pose, lift the knee higher. Right peace finger to big toe as you breathe out. Extend the legs, stay tall, Ujjayi, breath in. Extend out and off to the right as you breathe out. Good, control, stork pose, use stability in the hips, hands rise. Foot to floor, hands to heart center, exhale. Urdhva Hastasana, reset with that active length, breathe in. Standing splits, right foot grounds, left rises as you breathe out. Halfway lift, take the crown of your head forward, set up, step or jump, low plank. Upward facing dog, keep pushing the floor away, thighs active. Downward facing dog, hold breath out to land. Buoyancy, rise, breathe in. Bend the knees, take that gaze forward. I encourage you to try a little jump now. Land in that halfway lift. Fold all the hamstrings. Hands rise up. Take a big breath in. Samastitahi as you exhale. Keep moving now, yogis. Right foot grounds, left knee rises. Take a big breath in. A whole breath out to set up peace fingers. Extend through the leg. Keep it nice and high. Draw shoulder blades together. Keep that stability in the hips and ankle off to the side as you breathe out. Rise back up, stork pose. Catch that balance. Hands to heart center as you exhale. Wobble the legs. One more time, either side, yogis. Hands rise up. Breathe in, active length. Fold over, standing splits as you breathe out. Crown of head forward, breathe in. Plant the hands, step, jump back, hug elbows in. Upward facing dog, open your chest more. Downward facing dog to breathe out and land. Rise up, Ujjayi. Bend the knees, gaze forward, step, maybe float. Land, halfway lift. Fold over to breathe out. Hands rise up, take a big breath in, not getting dizzy. Hands at heart as you exhale. You guys know where to go. Ground the left to lift the right. Take a big and buoyant breath in. Set up those peace fingers, stabilize through ankle, knee and hip. Extend that leg, more hamstrings. They're really, really opening. Out and off to the side as you breathe out. Right knee rises, keep it nice and high, hands up. Samastitahi, reset, check in with the breath. Urdhva Hastasana, that active length, you're nearly there. Standing splits, left leg rises. Halfway lift, crown of head forward in space. Step, maybe jump back, challenge yourself, Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, keep pushing the floor away. Hips up and back, land in that active home base. Heels rise when the breath in comes. Bend the knees, that gaze forward, step, jump, float. Halfway lift, straight spine. Fold over into an empty belly. Hands rise up, breathe in. Samastitahi, exhale. Last one, right foot grounds, left knee rises, feel buoyant. Set up the peace fingers, stabilize through that grounded foot. Extend the leg to breathe in. Pull it off into the left as you breathe out. Slow transition back into stork pose. Keep that left knee higher. There it is. Foot to floor. Hands to heart center. Breathe out. Close down your eyes. Press your thumbs against your heart space. Feel your heart beating into your thumbs. Feel the rise in your heart rate. Feel the existence of the universe being drawn into your lungs. And then as you exhale, offer it where it came from to complete that circle, to complete that connection. Just one more breath like this. Really slowly, guys, come down to a seat on your mat. I'll get you to face forward from the top. Coming into a wide-legged position. But here I'm going to ask, just like when we move into our Paschimottanasana, you take your sitting bones back in space. For those of you who feel rounding through your lumbar spine, sit up on a pillow, a block, anything to elevate the hips. Activate the toes towards the sky, the kneecaps towards the hips. Breathe in to lift up. And then as you breathe out, begin to fold. For many of us, this is going to bring up loud sensation. And for a lot of us in our regular classes, this is where we compare ourselves to others. Utilize the fact you really only have Tyler. You have lots of other people to look around at. So close your eyes. When the body offers you sensation, it's starting a conversation. It's letting you know how it feels in this particular situation, in this particular pose. Feel what your body has to say. Listen. And together, we're going to take 3 more rounds of breath in this pose. 3 more long, slow inhales. 3 more elongated exhales. Ujjayi still present, still carrying you through. Take that last breath out, surrender the torso. Begin to slowly roll up. Keep your legs as they are. Allow that right arm to fall along the inner right leg. First, spin the chest open. Take the left shoulder back in space. And then once you feel as if you're ready, reach that left arm up, over, and past the right foot. What we're working on here is grounding down through this left sitting bone really heavy into the earth. By placing our attention here and keeping it grounded, we allow ourselves to find this beautiful long line of energy, of length through the left side. Keep that breath fluid. Keep spinning the chest open. Just one more breath here. Use a breath in to rise up. A breath out to swap over sides. Now we're working on taking that right shoulder back in space. Grounding through that right sitting bone. And from this right sitting bone again, we've got this beautiful long line of energy. Keep moving past that foot, not towards it. Close down the eyes. offer the body this safe space to speak and to be heard. Just 2 more breaths. A breath in to rise. Move your legs towards one another now. Good. We're coming into an active variation of Paschimottanasana, so take the sitting bones as far back as you can. Here, start to activate your chest up. And once you've got that chest up action, keep that, then begin to hinge at the hips. Play with that first point of sensation. It's like the beginning of the conversation. Just feel that. We don't have to keep forcing our body into this. We can allow the body to surrender as it feels comfortable, as it feels safe. But for that to happen, we must listen and we must learn. Once you feel a little bit more comfortable, maybe you can add a little bit more sensation by keeping that chest up and forward action, not rounding over through the spine like we did before. But after all of this hamstring lengthening, we want to maintain that as best as we can. Take that last long, luscious breath out. Slowly rise up as you breathe in. Lay down on your back as you exhale. Good. Hug both knees into your chest. Give them a really tight squeeze. And then once you feel as if you're ready, allow both knees to drop over and to the right, stacking on top of one another. Ground down heavily through that left shoulder blade. Even when we twist, we're looking for a deep breath that moves in and out of the belly. In this gentle twist, the breath is not at all compromised, so focus on it. Allow every exhale to offer you more space, so you can fold just a little deeper. Every inhale, feel that offer the belly a cooling sensation. One more breath out. Slowly come back to center as you breathe in. And land on the other side as you exhale. Jaw soft, eyes closed. As we fall into a state of stillness, we gently take the mind by its hand and guide it in the same direction. External thoughts will not serve us, so allow them to stay where they are, outside. Just one more breath on this side. Begin to roll to center. Find Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together, knees out nice and wide. We allow the spine to come back neutral and to be supported by the earth beneath us. the outer seams of the legs become heavier and heavier. And maybe gently placing your hands on your belly will remind you to continue those deep, long, and conscious breaths. Just one more. Slowly begin to extend through the legs. Lift the chest up just enough to tuck your shoulder blades underneath so you can face your palms to the sky and come into this position of surrender. Surrender to time and space. What exists now is the movement of your belly, the rise, the fall. Commit to this stillness. From wherever your attention may have wandered to, I invite you to bring it back. Bring it back with a few deep breaths. Now guided into the body with some gentle movement through the limbs. Slowly begin to roll yourself off to one side. From there, we begin to move ourselves to a seat. Eyes remain closed. Place your hands into Anjali Mudra. Bow your head to your hands. Together we honor the practice. Together we honor each other, and together we honor ourselves in saying Namaste.
Namaste.
Yogis, thank you so much for supporting our small little business and continuing to practice with us. We feel so privileged to be able to share with you in any capacity. So thank you again, and we really look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you guys.